I'm glad you said that. And I think about like when I was in high school, I didn't know anybody who binge ate or who was anorexic or bulimic. Is it something that's more common now, or was it just hidden more then?
I was gonna say, I bet you did, Lisa.
And didn't know it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I bet you did. Because like you were saying earlier, like shame is so pervasive,
Hmm.
so pervasive. We don't talk about it. We'll talk about dieting,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
we don't talk about, binge eating. And so
Yeah.
there's so much shame with it. Um, that I think it's much more common than people realize. And even when, I mean, people come to treatment with me for binge eating, and it's still hard to talk about.
There's so much shame. It goes so deep.
There's so much
It,
shame.
it, 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 it,
Absolutely.
it's like it becomes their identity, and it's hard to
Yeah.
separate that, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
That can be a big part of it because usually binge eating, starts earlier in life.
yeah.
It starts earlier in life and it does become part of the identity. And so you've got a part of you that has been binge eating for years and it's serving a purpose.
Hmm.
And with binge eating, there's ambivalence about giving it up. It's not uncommon for a binge eater for a binge eater to say, yeah, I do want to give this up. It's making me miserable. I hate it. It's ruining my life.
But
But another part of them is like, no,
yeah, what is
can't
that?
do it.
Because that's so true. What is that? Because there is something to that, and I know I've experienced that in my life as well. That this thing that I'm doing, I hate it. I don't want to do it. I'm miserable, but I don't want to give it up. What is that?
Are you familiar with internal family systems? Have
A
you
little
ever
bit.
heard of IFS? Yeah.
I've heard of
Okay.
it.
Okay. And so IFS was actually created by Richard Schwartz for eating disorders.
Oh,
And so, yeah, he's got some good work. But anyway, like I won't get into all the details with IFS. It is a modality of treatment that I use with my clients and so forth.
okay.
Um, but it's about understanding our internal parts of ourselves. We all have different parts and pieces, right? Have you ever had the experience of like, well, one part of me wants to go to the party, but another part wants to stay home and watch
Yes.
Netflix? Right?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about, right? We all have different parts and pieces inside of ourselves. But when we bring it back to eating, we have one part of us that says, no, 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 you don't need those cookies. You don't need those cookies. What are you doing? Those cookies aren't going to make you feel better. And then you have another part of you, kind of like the angel and the devil on your shoulder,
Yes.
right? Then you have another
Mm-hmm.
part that's like, no, girl, you deserve those cookies.
Yes.
Your day was hard. Your kids are screaming, like, you haven't felt well. Like you deserve those cookies,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe it's more of an emotional eater part. Maybe it's more of a binge eater part, right? And the binge eater part typically is more of a numbing part. It is a
Oh,
part that just it doesn't necessarily try to soothe you or distract you. It pretty much just wants you numbed out.
okay. That's interesting.
And so it's a deeper level. And this is also why
Mm-hmm.
you'll hear like for true binge eaters, they're not present when they're eating.
Yeah, I
They
could see
don't
that.
know, right? They don't know how much they've eaten.
Right.
All of a sudden, like they come back to the surface and the package of Oreos is empty, right? And what happened? Right? And so disassociation can also be common with binge eating because that's also that connection to trauma.
Right.
And so we are just trying to numb the hell out of
Right.
whatever trauma response our body is going through.
Shut that thing up. And so we're stuffing it with food, and
Yeah.
we're lost in that because that's what we're focused on. We're trying to shut that thing up, whatever is stirred up in us. And then we're lost in it. And then we come back, and then we've eaten, like you
And
said, the whole
the,
thing of
sh-
Oreo
the, sh-
cookies, and you
yeah,
feel terrible.
and the shame,
Oh,
right?
God.
And it's a mix of pleasure and pain too. That's also what makes binge eating complicated is while you're eating, people will typically experience like pleasure
Yeah. Right.
in some sort of way, but they're also experiencing more and more pain.
So they go
And so
more.
those signals can get, yeah, they can get twisted in your brain, they get intermixed, like interwoven, and it gets very then complicated the next time the urge to binge comes along.